Hello and welcome to Under the Ball in the Post-Truth Apocalypse. I'm Ben, and as always I'm hanging out with Mike.
Hello.
Claire.
Hey.
And Pete is back.
Hey!
I'm still going to keep introducing him as a guest. I'm going to introduce him as a guest forever.
On probation, clearly.
He's on the team now, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that the Council of 12 met. As the orb had been pondered. No.
Well,
yeah.
he's stuck with me now, so tough tits.
He hasn't left. He's literally just been sleeping on Mike's sofa. Either whether we want him to or not. Yes, today, because I've got into the ball, we like a bit of football. Pete, you into football? I haven't asked you. Into football?
Yeah, ish.
Yeah? Claire, you like a bit of footy?
Oh, it's on, isn't it?
It's your pick, so I thought you might have liked
is.
it.
It is.
Well, yeah, I just, there's a lot of corruption.
She doesn't have a football team that she supports.
No, I don't know. But if it's on, I'll watch it.
You're Liverpool, aren't you?
Liverpool,
Yes. We have spoken about football.
Yeah,
I remember.
It's not glory, because I've been a Liverpool supporter since I was about 3.
And you, a lot of Liverpool fans about nowadays.
So let's
a lot of
face
Liverpool
it,
fans around.
I haven't had many years of glory in my lifetime.
No, you've only had the
Oh,
couple.
the Forest fan, think about me.
Yeah, Mike is a Nottingham Forest fan.
West Ends, former life.
At least
probably.
people will know who Liverpool are. Like, who would he?
I am a Blackburn Rovers fan who are flying high in the Championship, and I'm dreaming about promotion back to the Prem. Well, we'll get fucking hammered every week until we come back down with our tail between our legs saying, sorry sir, we won't do that again for a while.
Still living the dream of 1995?
Yes, the 1994-95 season, yes.
Yeah, that's right. I remember it greatly. I really do. One of my best friends was a Blackburn fan, and I just remember him going
Legends
crackers.
of Mike Newell and David May.
There is more than 3 in the world, so
Yay! But we also like a bit of scandal and a bit of corruption.
well, we don't like it.
Well, we like to talk about it and roll our eyes and tut our tongues and wonder what's to be done with FIFA. And Sepp Blatter. But yes, so when the two combine, we feel like we're on a comfortable, easy ground. And there may be some talk about football in this, in all fairness, rather than the corruption.
And how awesome Mo Salah is.
King Mo.
Yeah.
No one can deny it.
Can't deny it. You can't
Doesn't
deny it.
matter who you support, does it?
No, probably best in the
Cannot
world at
deny
the moment,
that.
I'd say, yeah.
Yeah, you can't argue with that. Even the United fans will tell you that.
No.
Right, so let's start by thanking some new and returning listeners. San Bruno, California. I should point out this isn't the full list. I abridge it, obviously, to the new listener. This isn't our only listeners. We're 200 episodes in and I've just figured out I should tell them that. This is an abridged. It's the most interesting places on the list for me as I read them out. Zurich in Switzerland, listening to us from their nuclear bunker, I hope.
I wonder if it's Sepp Blatter listening.
God, I hope not. He's going to like this episode. Sepp, if you are listening, and that is you.
You're going to learn some home truths, my friend.
Why does your name sound like Stepladder?
Because his name's not Sepp.
Isn't it?
No,
It's septic.
It's a nickname.
Bladder.
It's a nickname. Buenos Aires, Argentina. There's the Falklands looking British. I'm surprised they still keep coming back. Kofu in Japan, Irvine, California, High Wycombe in the United Kingdom, Toledo in Spain, Fort Lauderdale in Florida, Rabat in Morocco, Dublin, Ireland, Guadalajara, Spain, Porterville, Missouri, Bengaluru in India, Toronto, Canada, Telford, which is our hometown. Oh, hang on. Alison Vejo in California. Did that last week.
We did, yeah.
Yeah,
Put it wrong then, and now, yeah.
Yeah.
Kejo. There's no J in Spanish.
yeah.
It pronounces a H.
You said Alison, there's no N. Yeah.
Aliso.
Not Alyssa.
Aliso, I said.
They should just not bother writing, should they? Just don't bother.
And top is Ashburn, Virginia. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
You're always here.
Thank you.
You rock this podcast built on. Its listener base is built on. Right, so football, and this isn't American football either, just because we have a lot of American listeners.
Soccer.
This is soccer, as you would call soccer. And you do get a mention in here, briefly. Well, very briefly. It starts in December 2010 when Russia, of all places, is awarded...
We're going to explain what FIFA is.
FIFA.
People might not know.
Oh yeah, good point. But then again, if you are listening, I assume you know what FIFA means. FIFA is the World Football governing body. Any rule changes, things like that, FIFA is the guys to go and see.
And they host the World Cup every 4 years.
And they host the World Cup.
Which is arguably the greatest tournament on earth.
Yeah, I'd argue that. Yeah, well, it
Someone
is.
said
Probably
the
one of the.
Olympics.
It's probably.
Oh,
between-
fuck the Olympics! It's 2 weeks of running and jumping.
Yeah, I think.
I think the arguments to be had
Other
or
than Olympics
Yeah.
probably does get more viewers. I don't know. It's difficult, isn't it? Because with Olympics, most countries have got somebody in it for the long road kind of thing. Whereas within the World Cup for football, come the second week, there's only a handful of teams left, and
Yeah, but it's a knockout tournament, isn't it?
But yeah,
It's not a round
My
robin
point
like the
is,
Olympics. You can have a
it's
go
open
until you can't do a
viewings.
sport.
it's open to every country.
my point of
pretty much
viewing
in the world.
really.
Yeah.
you may not get quite as many people watching it, but
Well, yeah, but look at the Olympics. If you go like that, are you taking the Olympics as a whole viewership, or are you taking it as individual events?
well,
The FA
maybe,
Cup,
yeah.
the World Cup final.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
probably,
that does
probably
get
one of
over
the
a billion.
biggest. Yeah, it's probably one
Yeah.
of the biggest viewed things, isn't it?
Yeah, easily.
Even more than the Eurovision Song Contest.
Yeah, and it is the stage. It is the stage for the beautiful game, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
shame it's not always so beautiful.
World
eh?
Cup Italia '90 was the first time I ever watched any football,
Yeah.
and that was just captivated me. It was amazing. Even though the semi-final lost to Germany, I was in a half German house, and they were supporting the Germans.
So I think '96, because of my living in Saudi Arabia, I missed out on '92, '94. Probably a bit too young and uninterested.
I mean, no one
Prior
in
to
England
that.
watched 1994 anyway. It was set in America, and we didn't go to it.
No, fair
I watched
enough.
it.
I didn't. I wasn't
Yeah.
interested enough at that point to watch.
I just got into football then, really, a couple of years. So I suddenly woke up in 1990, then the FA Cup final in 91, and then I was hooked.
Yeah, '96 would have been the Euro
Yeah.
'96. That was when I kind of started to take a real interest in.
Yeah, that was an amazing team.
Yeah,
was,
yeah,
yeah.
it really was.
I think it just swept, because that's the one that sticks out for me as the first. Yeah, it just swept the country, didn't
that
it?
goal Gaza scored against Scotland.
Oh, with the little chip over
Sir
little chip
Colin
over
Hendry.
and land it on the volley.
Yeah.
Absolute stunner. So I've watched that goal probably more than any other goal ever scored by any person. That's got to be up there with the best goals ever scored.
Oh yeah.
Ever, like, no matter who, ever. I think.
Yeah.
Shame
Shame it was
where he is
Euros
now.
though, and we're talking about FIFA.
Yeah.
Well, we can mention UEFA briefly. They do the European side of things,
Yeah.
but they're still.
It's corrupt.
I was going to say, I guarantee there's corruption within there.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there
It
is.
hasn't
We'll get into
come
it
out
later,
quite
yeah.
so big.
So, December 2010, Russia gets awarded the 2018 World Cup, which was odd. But understandable, in a way. Even though it's so massive and it would just be completely impractical, wouldn't it? Because Russia was huge.
Yeah.
It was also a nightmare to get in and out of. Visas are very strict. The police are known for being notoriously brutal. And the population isn't, let's say, as welcoming to people of certain races, genders, sexualities,
Colour.
colour.
There would be a lot of teams that would struggle just with colour, I think, because
Yeah.
they are pretty bad on that, aren't they? To be fair, quite
Yes.
a racist.
And let's not forget probably the biggest problem for any country hosting the World Cup is football hooliganism
Yeah,
and your heavy-handed police force.
yeah.
And, you know, the Russians have a reputation for being very violent football hooligans, same as the English did back in the heyday of the 70s and 80s of English hooliganism.
I believe they do have like the worst record for it. There's teams, I think they're Russian teams, that have got the most notorious football.
Oh yeah, because it's like
gangs.
it's more like organised crime at that level.
It almost turns into like mafia.
Yes.
What's the? It's not mafia, is it? Firms.
Firms.
Proper firms, isn't
Yes,
it? But yeah.
it's basically still the same thing. It's still a mob. It's still an organised crime gang. It's just called a firm rather than because they're not
Mafia.
related by blood. Because that's more to do with family, isn't it? The mafia.
Yeah.
And then Qatar gets the 2022 hosting rights. The problem with that one is that Qatar has got no fucking infrastructure to host the World Cup.
No.
It's got to build every single stadium. It's got to build airports. It's got to build rail links. It's got to build hospitals. Well, yes, it probably has. It's got to build the infrastructure to accommodate, I don't know, a couple of million extra people turning up in its major cities.
Yep.
How much have they done? Because it's like 2022 now.
Well, they should be finishing it.
Do you know what though? They don't have to worry about millions of people going into the cities anymore, do they? Because
Well, that's true. COVID's got to put
restrictions and that.
COVID will put the kibosh on that. So when it was given, there was no such thing as COVID. The Chinese hadn't released it yet.
And they were also going to do it in the summer.
In the
air
summer.
condition every stadium.
So there you go, there's your environmental impact. That's not very green, is it? For air conditioning 80, 90,000 seater stadiums to a nice moderate cool temperature in the middle of a fucking Qatari summer.
It's going to get used for 4 weeks and then probably left to ruin.
Yeah, but are they even going to be filled with 80, 90,000 people?
Well, not now, but they might have been at the time when they were awarded it. Also, it's being built with slave labour.
Yeah, so forget that.
The people are dying making this. Lots of people, well, not lots, but enough people are dying for this to be an issue.
Do we know what Qatar have built for this?
They've got building every stadium.
Done? Yeah, but you're saying like the infrastructure and things like that would have to be put into place to accommodate for a couple of million extra people just jumping up on these big cities.
Let's find out.
Surely they must have still put that infrastructure in place.
No, they had nothing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, have they put any of that in place?
Oh yeah, it's all being done as we speak.
Yeah. So what extra have they still made the extra infrastructure for a couple of million people? That's my point.
Right.
Or have they just gone? It's all right. We can just build a couple of stadiums now and not worry.
What should we look it up?
Yeah.
Claire, you've done some research, so what have you found?
To build 8 stadia and hugely redevelop one that's already there. The estimate includes hotels, roads, public spaces and other transport sort of mechanisms. It's 220 billion.
Wow.
US dollars.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you've got the human cost of that, which could be as high as 7,000 but as low as 3, depending on who you want to listen to.
Yeah, and most use stadium and never used again.
No, that's another thing you see. It's
A
all
lot
about
of them aren't.
giving a country the World Cup is like saying you care enough about football to have this.
Here's an upgrade.
You know, you care enough about football. It's sort of your national identity or national pastime. That's why America's only had it the once.
They're getting it again, aren't they?
Well, they're going to have it again, but only because of this scandal. Which means we'll probably get it. So, no, we won't get it because of the Euros. Fans weren't very well behaved at the final, were they?
I think we're going back in for the 2030.
No.
Wasn't even our Euros though. It wasn't even ours though, was it?
No, but it was shared. I don't think it'd be a while for the
We had
left
the final at Wembley, didn't we?
Yeah, but it wasn't even ours, was it?
No, not really.
Whose was it supposed to be?
Just shared that one. I
Whose
think.
was it supposed to be?
Yeah, it was just shared. Yeah, they were just going to do it, which was terrible.
Was it always going to be that way then?
I don't know what UEFA are going to do next, to be fair.
Oh, I liked that it was shared then.
It
no.
kind of mixed it up a little bit, I guess.
I think it's fair, isn't it? They're all in the one place, playing the same country. Because England got to play the semi-final and final at home, didn't we?
We did. I think we played 4 games at home.
Yeah.
People could say that that's why we did as well as we did.
Yeah, it's probably
It
did
would have
contribute.
helped, but we didn't really have mass numbers of crowds in.
Yeah, but most of them were England fans, weren't they? Wembley was fairly full for the final.
It was for the final, wasn't it?
Anyway, this is the Euros.
Yeah, sorry. Right, anyway, that's the thing. It's saying, hey, you care enough about football in your country as a national pastime that you can have this. You can have this prestige of hosting the World Cup.
I think it's a good idea, actually, that it's gone to someone like Qatar. It's gone to another
Well, it gives them an
continent.
upgrade. It allows them to progress themselves further in football after the competition.
It's a World Cup, isn't it? It's a World Cup, so why can't it be held in Africa and Asia?
Yeah. Well, do you think they'll do it in Madagascar?
I don't know about Madagascar.
No.
Probably
I guess
somewhere
countries like
Egypt
that,
next, maybe.
yeah,
Or
countries like that, it's an impossibility, isn't it?
yeah.
And it's also, remember, you got a terrorism threat. Oh, 2010, we have had, we're 9 years deep, balls deep into a war on terror at this point, and you're giving it fucking one of the largest public gatherings in the Middle East as a hotbed of Islamic terrorism.
I don't think Qatar is it?
People can infiltrate,
I
though,
was
can
going to
they?
say you're close enough, though, aren't they? They're close enough to. You think of the surrounding countries it has.
You know,
I'm trying to think geography now. I'm trying to look at a map in my head, and I can't see Qatar where it is.
Do you know who designed the stadiums? Here's a little bit of trivia. Here's a fucked up fact.
Go on.
The son of Albert Speer, the Nazi architect. He's also an architect, and his company's designing these.
Well, let's hope he's not completely like father, like son. Hey.
Yeah. Yes.
Hey, look nice on plans for that Third Reich.
You know what? You cracking architect. You've got to get, and armaments minister doubled Germany's armaments production, even under 24-hour bombing raids from the Allies. They didn't have the advantage of a massive slave labour population, though. That helps. But still, it's an achievement. In fact, his son's able to work as an architect. I don't think even Speer was executed. I just think he had years in prison. He was out.
Depends what he did, didn't he?
I don't think he was linked to any of the uber-Nazi stuff like the Holocaust. He was armaments and architecture. I mean, he'd have been aware of it, obviously, because he's one of the inner circle, but he wouldn't have had a hand in organising it, I guess. Or maybe he was a great organiser. Certainly wasn't linked to him anyway.
We had to bring the Nazis back into it.
I know you love it.
Go into
It's always
everything.
come in, doesn't it?
I know you love
Every
it.
subject, don't they?
Yeah.
They didn't come into Robin Hood.
No, they didn't.
No, they
We
didn't
didn't mention the Nazis.
No.
For once.
More a communist
Yeah.
than only Robin Hood, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Moving forward to February 2011, FIFA's Ethics Committee upheld a 3-year and 1-year bans imposed respectively upon Executive Committee members Amos Adamu and Reynard Tremaine for breaches of FIFA's Code of Ethics following a Sunday Times, of all people, investigation into wrongdoing during the World Cup 2018 and 2022 bidding campaigns. Basically like, hey, did you take some money for that? Them votes. Bit odd, them votes, isn't it?
I never understood why these bids have to cost millions of pounds.
No, mate.
No.
But you're butchering them up to get your vote, aren't they? That's what it shouldn't be, you're right. They shouldn't be able to take massive donations, or they're certainly not meant to, but they are.
I'm sure I've heard of
To
people
say,
giving watches and stuff, and
Well, Sepp Blatter probably lives in a fucking Qatari villa in an oasis with several attractive young Russians right now. You know, but I guarantee you that they took him out on the town, showed him the fucking good time, got some young bird to shag him. Can we rely on your vote in the bidding process? Or just bunged him a few million. Here's a 70,000 watch, vote for us. Be more to come. That's what it boils down to, but it should be, oh, you know what, let's decide who this is going to benefit the best.
yeah, why doesn't all the countries in the world have one vote?
Well, they do, it's their football associations.
Why didn't FIFA do an internal review?
But people like, you know, so like people like fucking Honduras and Guatemala have got the same say in the voting process as Britain, Germany, Italy and that. So it's all equal, yeah, it's all a wonderful ideal, but they're the guys who are getting bribed the most.
Well, that they should ban them for 5 years or something. You can't vote on where it, or, you know, the next X amount of World Cups. You're not allowed to vote because whoever's disgraced your country.
Yeah, well, we'll find out what the rulings were later, I guess, will we?
We will. Now, May 2011, FIFA suspends presidential candidate Mohammed bin Haman and Vice President Jack Warner, pending an investigation to claims they offered financial incentives to members of the Caribbean Football Union. It then later drops a complaint against Blatter, the Caribbean Football Union.
Okay.
The Qatari 2022 team deny any wrongdoing with their winning bid, saying their name has been dragged through the mud for no reason, nothing to do with their immensely oil-rich company with money to burn. Country, not much difference. In June 2011, bin Hammam is found guilty of bribery and banned from all international and national football activity for life.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
FIFA commissions a report into allegations of corruption in world football, which is led by former US attorney and newly appointed head of FIFA's ethics committee, Michael Garcia.
Well, good luck to that.
Yeah.
Just 1 year later.
Just 1 year later, the Sunday Times reports it's claimed hundreds of millions of documents, which it claims reveal that disgraced former FIFA Executive Committee member bin Hamad had made payments to football officials in return for votes for Qatar.
What gets me, right, it takes them 3 years to kind of
And then they'll
find that out. It's-
Then they'll argue, oh, we've pumped X amount of money into the infrastructure now, and then you can't.
Well, I guess that's it. We started.
In 3 years,
Contracts in.
a lot can be done in 3 years that they don't know about. That's the point. It takes them so long to get to these investigations and find out the information. That how much more did they miss along the way?
Yeah.
Pretty
you know what I
thorough
mean?
though, aren't they? That's why it takes so long, because they are
Perhaps.
thorough. I mean, he's produced a 430-page report into corruption.
And he sent it to people, and then the very best of it is, they condense it down to 42 pages.
What FIFA do?
Yeah. Hans Johann Eckardt, chairman of the adjudicatory
Right.
chamber of FIFA's Independent Ethics Committee, publishes a 42-page summary of Garcia's investigation.
Takes out all the juicy stuff, leaves 42 pages of the boring stuff probably.
Well, yeah. Leave out all the juicy stuff, which
Yeah, it
finds
effectively.
all the corruption and.
Yeah, but that effectively confirmed Russia and Qatar as World Cup hosts after finding breaches by them were of very limited scope. That's what it said, but obviously they took out 90% of it.
Yeah, but this is what happens when they regulate themselves.
That's the point, isn't it? You regulate yourself, you're never going to find yourself guilty, are you? Oh, I'm the judge. I'm not guilty. Fantastic. 430 pages? Nah, a lot of this. Pfft, I wipe my arse on some of it. I don't know. Oh, there's a picture of a cock I drew the other night. Yeah, just 42 pages, that's enough. That'll do. Just take out all the juicy stuff. And yeah, they may have made a few fucking little cheeky gifts, let's say, but that's about it. Who doesn't have the odd gift now and again?
Enough to get him into trouble, but not enough to get him into the trouble they should have gotten into.
Yeah, because remember, he's already been found guilty, so you've got to find something. Haven't you?
Otherwise,
he's already been found guilty, so
worthless.
make him the scapegoat.
Yeah.
He's banned from all football for the rest of his life. He can't do nothing. He's never come back to haunt us. Yeah, FIFA lodges a criminal complaint with the Swiss Attorney General over possible misconduct by individuals, but insists the investigation into the bidding process for the 2 World Cups is concluded.
Of course, that's what they wanted.
Yeah. Garcia, in all fairness to him again, calls the summary incomplete and erroneous and launches an appeal against it. So Garcia is the only honest man in the room in this scenario, isn't he? Because he's the one going, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Well, their hand has been forced now to. They've had to change the guy at the FIFA Ethics Committee, haven't they?
Yep.
And they've had to put this guy in who they must know is, a bit of a. Gonna find shit.
Yeah, but then we put that back to ourselves. You put it back to yourselves, didn't you? They've hired him to say, all right, tell us all the stuff that went on.
Yeah, he's found it, and then they've took all the juicy stuff out.
Yeah, they've given. He's handed it to the FIFA Ethics Committee and he's gone, all right, well, we'll take that.
Oh, he is the FIFA Ethics.
Yeah, well, the deputy stepped in and gone.
He sent it to FIFA, and they've produced a summary,
Yeah,
which he says it's incomplete and erroneous. No shit.
yeah. And he's even appealed against it. Garcia loses his appeal in December 2014. He resigns as FIFA's
Good for him.
independent ethics investigator.
He was independent.
Yeah.
That explains everything, doesn't it? They were forced to get an independent ethics committee.
And then he handed it to FIFA's ethics
Yeah.
committee, who went, nope.
Yeah.
He criticised FIFA's lack of leadership and said that he cannot change the culture of the world governing body. FIFA executives agreed to publish a legally appropriate version of the report, but this is yet to happen.
It's just so blatant, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, so May 2015, we're up to the end of May. The US Department of Justice arrested 7 officials from FIFA, the governing body of international soccer. Hours later, Swiss officials opened a parallel investigation concerning the bidding process for the 2018 Russia and 2022 Qatari World Cups. So, because a US attorney has basically gone dodgy as fuck, US Department of Justice and the US government, of course, which had submitted a substantial bid to FIFA to have the World Cup when they feel that Russia and Qatar are both clearly less soccery than them, and they should have it because they've got everything there.
Yeah.
And they don't need to spend 220 billion. No. Give it to Qatar in a few years. Build the stuff. Build it first. You want it, build it. We'll consider you. If not, you've just upgraded your infrastructure. Well done. But yeah, so they got pissed, and then the Swiss got involved as well. In the first investigation, the US Department of Justice alleges that sports marketing executives, agents in other words, allegedly paid more than $150 million in bribes to FIFA officials to secure broadcast rights. 9 soccer officials and 5 sports executives were indicted.
Indicted.
Indicated, it's all the same, you're fucked. Now, acting as an informant, former FIFA official Chuck Blazer admitted to taking bribes in exchange for awarding the 1998 World Cup to France and the 2010 World Cup to South Africa.
You know it's been going on all along, don't you?
Yeah.
Of course it has.
Yeah, because the French hadn't had long... They'd had the Euros. They had the Euros and the World Cup back to back, didn't they? France 98 was the World Cup, and I'm sure Euro 2000 was in France.
No, it was Belgium and Holland, wasn't it?
Oh, they had it not long after, because they were simultaneous champions at one point.
Yeah, they won the Euros in 2000, but I don't think it was in France.
Oh, well, they had it not long after. 2002, 2004 maybe?
2000... They had the World Cup again, didn't they? 2006?
That's right, they did. No, it was no, yeah.
Was it Germany?
Yeah, Germany.
What were they playing in
Yeah,
France when there was those people with the grenades?
Say again?
There was like a big game in France, and they had like people with grenades, didn't they? Like,
I never heard that.
No, you're thinking about concert, are you? Turned into a terrorist attack.
might have been a concert in like a football stadium in France.
I mean, I reckon the corruption goes way back. I mean, in '78 it was Argentina, and they were, what do you call it, a military dictatorship.
Oh, they were, yeah.
Even Italy in '38. You know,
Yeah,
and
true.
Mussolini, they were fascists.
Yeah. It probably does.
Yeah.
It probably does, yeah.
But I think Sepp Blatter certainly, if there was corruption, he accelerated it, didn't he?
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, he swept it under the carpet as long as he got his cut. He's running it like a firm, isn't he? I bet they had to pay tribute to him.
He's not still in charge, is he?
No, he resigned. He resigned straight after this all broke. So the US is investigating the bribes relating to broadcast rights, but also found evidence of World Cup bid bribes too. The Department of Justice charges mainly concern the allocation of soccer broadcast rights in the Western Hemisphere. Investigators charge that officials from FIFA and CONCACAF, FIFA's governing body for Central and North America, solicited and accepted bribes from sports marketing executives in exchange of broadcast rights to the World Cup and other tournaments, which they then sold to other broadcasters.
What a surprise.
So in a way, it's almost like, remember the Untouchables, where they can't get Capone for all the heinous shit he's done, but they can get him on tax evasion?
Yeah.
It's kind of that version, isn't it? So we know you've taken bribes, but we can't quite prove that yet, but we can get you on selling this.
These can't get them on bribes, can't they?
They can't, they haven't got, they're not quite with that yet, but this is a chance to... They know they've done it, they haven't got... This is what they're charging them with at the moment.
It's hard to give evidence to
That's why
somebody
Sky
giving
gets
money.
all the football and that. And only the football channels, you don't get it
Yeah.
on terrestrial TV and stuff now.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, well,
They
yeah.
are charging them for the bribes.
They're charging them for the bribes to the TV companies,
Yeah.
but not the bribes to the World Cup votes.
Right,
Is what I'm saying. And those executives from South, Central and North America allegedly paid more than $150 million in bribes and kickbacks to FIFA officials. Quote, the journalist who wrote it, Amanda Taub, says FIFA officials treated their positions like toll booths, extracting bribes from marketing organisations that needed their signatures or cooperation. So, you know, why is Pepsi...
Pay for access, don't you?
Yeah, you know, the official beer of the World Cup. That's what you want. The official beer of the World Cup, and a sporting, you know, promotes athleticism. Now I get drunk and watch this, you'll never be like them.
Well, that's ridiculous, isn't it? It's great when Cristiano Ronaldo, when he was on live TV, when he had 2 bottles of Coke.
That's right.
Pushed him away, didn't he?
Yeah, called for water. Yeah, but that guy's just a perfectionist, though, isn't
They
he?
lost millions on the stock exchange because of that.
Did they?
Yeah.
Maybe he was snubbed by Coke back in the day. No, but that guy doesn't put anything into his body apart from...
That's it. He was like, no, you know,
Natural
drink water,
stuff.
kids, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of the only things I've ever respected that he's done.
Yeah. Well,
I respect
And I think
him,
he's
he's a
won.
good footballer,
Yeah.
but I don't like him as a person. He's such a smug turd, I think.
yeah, I think he has to be, doesn't he?
You gotta be if you're him, though, haven't you?
Yeah, maybe.
But then Zlatan's the same, but he does it with a bit more humour, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Zlatan's got Caesar complex. He like refers to himself in the third person all the time.
Yeah.
That's an issue for me. Is I always think that guy's a bit of a maniac if you're referring to yourself in the third person all the time.
Pete always does that.
You've got to have some balls to carry that off, haven't you?
Yeah.
You have, yeah, but he has. He's got massive steel balls that hang down past his knees.
Just a bit.
He destroyed Ryan Shawcross in that one England game.
He did.
He destroyed his fledgling international career and his confidence as a player. Yeah. Oh, it was beautiful. It wasn't beautiful because it was Ryan Shawcross and he was decent, but he could have had potential.
Destroyed his career.
He got done by Zlatan and that was it.
It was a friendly against Sweden, wasn't it?
Just did him from about 35 yards.
Hat trick on it.
Something like that.
He scored 4 and just completely showed up Shawcross, didn't he?
He did. Poor Shawcross. R.I.P.D. to Ryan Shawcross's career. However, during the investigation, the Department of Justice has uncovered evidence of other sorts of bribery, in particular while pleading guilty and acting as an informant. Former FIFA executive Chuck Blazer admitted to soliciting and accepting bribes during the process of awarding the 1998 World Cup to France and the 2010 World Cup to South Africa, which as England fans we don't talk about. The 2010 World Cup.
Is that the one where we just got booted out in the first round?
No, we went to Germany 4-2.
4-1.
4-1.
Should have been 4-2.
Should have been 4-2. We could have equalised at half time, but Lampard's goal was disallowed, which it was always going to be. We can't have that going.
On the big screen, the fans in the stadium could see it go over the line in the replay.
Yeah.
And the ref must have been able to see it.
Yeah.
And they couldn't give it, could they? Because we had no VAR at that point.
Yeah. But we were shit. We got a 0-0 draw with Algeria.
Matthew Upson at the back.
Oof.
Jermaine Defoe up front. I mean, he was alright, but he wasn't world class, was he?
Nah, and then we had Rob Green in goal for the first game against the US.
What a cloud.
We drew 1-0. We started off the first 4 minutes.
We were at the pub watching that match, weren't we, against the US at the Foresters?
Yeah.
We went to the Foresters to watch.
Oh, they had the big screen TV at the back. Didn't mean you, Claire, go and watch the Germany-England game?
Yeah.
Went down there, yeah. It was a good pub, that. I haven't been there for ages. Now, also the Russia and Qatar World Cups bidding processes are being investigated as well by the Department of Justice and the Swiss Office of the Attorney. They are investigating FIFA on suspicion of criminal mismanagement and of money laundering in connection with the allocation of the 2018 and 2022 World Cups. And these World Cups are obviously awarded to Russia and Qatar respectively after a vote by FIFA's executive committee, which Blazer was still serving on. So he probably took some money, didn't he? If everyone else is doing it, Chuck's in there too.
Well, there's bribes, there's Chuck. It does seem that way, doesn't it?
It does seem that way. Yeah, I'll admit to those other ones, but you're not getting me for this one, alright? I bet that was his fucking plea bargain. I'll inform for you, I'll admit to a couple, but you're not getting me on this one.
But we all knew they were corrupt for years, for decades, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was a joke.
Yeah. And
everyone knew FIFA was corrupt. If you knew about football, you knew FIFA were corrupt.
Sepp Blatter's had a net worth of 40 million. In fact, I think he still has. Fuck me. How does he get that much by just being president of FIFA?
How much was he getting paid?
Well, not 40 million for the deals he's done, I'd imagine. Swiss officials are interviewing 10 FIFA executive committee members who were part of the bidding process back in 2010 and have seized some banking records and other files. Blazer's admission of bribery during previous bidding processes makes it seem more likely they'll find new evidence.
Yeah, I think they will. When was this article?
2015. They did find new evidence because Blatter's being charged as we speak.
There we go then.
Sepp Blatter resigned immediately, days after winning re-election to a 5th term. Wasn't charged.
Who's electing him then?
All the people that he's been paying.
All the people that maybe he doesn't take
back.
No,
all the people that he lets
have backhanders and that. Yeah.
So I don't think he didn't receive any money, but he's allowing it to happen and saying, "Oh, I know you took that bribe. I want your vote for president.
Yeah.
Want your vote." That's how it works, isn't it?
Anybody gets a nice little gift as well.
Yeah, of course. He pays himself a pretty penny as well. I mean, I'm sure he gets a nice salary and pension.
But he gets chauffeured around everywhere. Probably has a company credit card, no limit. Oh yeah, that's how you stay rich, and you don't spend your own money.
Yeah.
They don't, do they?
No, they spend the company's money.
They don't pay their taxes and they don't spend it.
No.
And it's like film stars at Oscars, they get given all this shit for free.
Yeah. Yeah,
It makes you angry, that, doesn't it, when they're all getting like iPads and shit like that. And you're like, why are you giving these guys iPads?
I mean, to be fair, some of them do give it to charity, don't they? I've heard of some actors and actresses doing that, but
You'd hope so.
well, the world is fucked up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why's no one giving me an iPad?
Socialism for the rich, and it's rugged capitalism for the poor.
Ooh, I like that word though, rugged.
It is.
It's very true.
Fucking FIFA though, eh?
Yep.
Dodgy
Twats.
bastards.
Dodgy bastards. But it's like a metaphor for the whole system of government. Do you get what you're saying, Mike?
Yeah, totally.
It's all corrupt, isn't it?
Anybody
Yeah.
who's in power of a big organisation, whether it's a country, the pharmaceutical, a football organisation, they're all corrupt.
Yeah, so they get there in the first
I was
place.
going to say you don't get that kind of money without corruption, but
Yeah.
there's corruption in a
Money
in a
and power
legal
corrupts.
way that kind of, I don't know, gets them there in the first place, and then they do a lot of non-legal stuff that gives them the super boosts.
But 9 times out of 10, they've already had a bit of cash though, haven't they?
Yeah. But where's that come from? Probably dodgy stuff.
Yeah, you have to ask. You have to ask.
You know what I mean?
You have to ask where anybody gets all their money from.
Usually inherited.
Yeah, from very dodgy people back in history who were perhaps slave owners. And, do you know what I mean?
That was what going through my head. I
Or
just
chaps
didn't
in
say
plate armour who just stole their money with the sword point.
it. Yeah.
Now, there are a few that work legally and do it the right way, but I bet you there's a lot that are fucking crooked, I bet you.
I reckon there's more crooked rich people.
Yeah.
than-
Certainly in their past,
honest.
anyway, if they've inherited it.
I
Yeah.
don't understand why it's got to be the US and the Swiss that are coming cracking down, you know, when it's...
Yeah, where's the
Well, I think it's because
Yeah.
the US
Where are we?
They were
the
probably
US
getting paid off.
the US were pissed that they got snubbed for Qatar
Yeah.
Yeah.
because they bid for the 2022 World
So
Cup. as
they
well.
thought, let's start investigating something that's dodgy here.
That's what I think it is.
It
Anyway.
is a little bit of a case of sour grapes that they went in and investigated it, but at the same
And
time,
then they found shit.
the fact they found shit says everything. But it was like I say, it was a running joke, and the guy, the England leader of England's bid, reported that he'd been asked for millions of dollars and other bribes in exchange for votes. 2 members of the executive committee are actually suspended before the vote due to the allegations, so they still let the vote go ahead, even though 2 of them have been suspended for corruption.
Yeah, and they're saying that it goes all the way back to 1974 when Blatter got on the picture, didn't he?
Yeah, well, yeah, because he's just basically just knew all about the bribes. He just covered them up. But I bet you he took a backhander.
Well, he got the votes for president, didn't he? That's what he was doing it for.
Yeah, he got that. But he also got his backhander.
Yeah. I think it's ridiculous that it become a running joke. If it become a running joke, why wasn't it investigated earlier?
Because he was.
He's rich and powerful, and rich and powerful get away with things for a long time. Look at Epstein.
How long do you think she's got left to live? I need to do an episode on this shortly because she's been found guilty and Prince Andrew's implicated. You see that they. Hang on, just brief tangent. You see they want the US lawyers was representing that girl want him to have some kind of doctor say that he physically can't sweat.
Yeah.
They want a group of doctors to say you can't sweat. Fucking prove it.
He sweated all right.
Oh yeah.
I hope they've gone back.
to rain.
It does sound that way, doesn't it?
I could hear the noise of it. It's lovely,
Yeah.
It was peeing down, by the way, in England.
I couldn't hear
as
it.
usual.
I would hope that they go to that pizza place in Woking.
They might have the CCTV though. This isn't that long ago.
You might have witnesses, like someone who works there since that time, at that time, and they remember it, or they don't remember
Or
it.
know someone that does.
Everyone will remember a fucking prince coming.
The day the prince and ice-like skin came to the Woking Pizza Hut on a
Yeah,
hot
but
summer's
you know
day.
what? Unless he announced himself as the prince, unless he went,
There'd be
"Hello,
security
I'm Prince
there.
Andrew."
Oh, the second he opened his mouth, you know it was him, though, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
but would you, if you were out working in a pizza place and this posh guy just come and ordered a pizza, you may not think anything of it Because it's not like he's the most public.
No, but he's there as a guest at a birthday party. His daughter. It's a group. It's a group.
The
thing.
staff will be told that look, the prince is coming into
Yeah, it would be a busy day. He'd have security.
It'd be a private function, wouldn't it?
Private function, I should imagine.
I remember what it was like when I saw Princess Anne at the gardens in Telford Town Centre last year. She was planting a little tree, and we couldn't get anywhere near her. Like there was like loads of security dotted around the place, and we had to get guided by one of the people that worked there. They had to like take us around there and like, oh, can you just wait here because she's just planting the tree. We were looking and we weren't even allowed to bring our phones out to take a picture.
Wow.
Because we could see her, we were looking at her. It's like, oh, there's Princess Anne. But yeah.
So Prince Andrew.
So yeah, you can imagine there'd have been a lot of security.
Yeah. There's actually some evidence suggests that he let them use the Queen's royal cabinet to one of her estates.
Yeah, there's a picture going around with it.
Yeah. Now let's go to FIFA for a second. It essentially operates with impunity, or did operate with impunity. It's not really Blatter's problem, Havilage, or any other specific FIFA official. It's the fact that FIFA falls into a legal grey area. It's not a business, and it's not a government organisation.
What is it then?
It's like a members club.
Yeah. It's like if we started a bowling league in our hometown and we got together and decided to govern ourselves. But it's a members club that's at the big time and no one really cares what we do with our bowling league or if we run it like dictators. But FIFA has gotten to the point where in terms of scale it has characteristics of a governmental organisation or a big business. It's neither. That's where it falls in the grey area. As long as they pay their taxes.
Private club.
Private club.
If you're a private club you can have your own rules as long as it isn't breaking the law.
As long as you pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Probably something to do with the Masons and that then.
But yeah, I'd imagine there's probably a few Freemasons in FIFA. You know, weirdly, right? I got a targeted ad on Facebook saying that I can join the Masons if you want. You haven't got to be invited. Become a Freemason.
Ooh. What, did you press it?
No. I was a little bit disgusted that I'd mentioned, I wonder if I'll get invited to join the Masons, my counsellor. To you two, I think I mentioned it off air as a joke, like, I wonder if they'll invite me to join the Masons. And then I get a targeted ad from Facebook asking me if I want to join the Masons. My God, I wonder if that's the sign. It's the Illuminati. They've recruited me.
Through Facebook.
That's a targeted ad specifically to me.
Yeah.
You have to go to your handler, Wayne Rooney.
Oh no, but he swings a tyre.
He's in the Illuminati.
He's not in the Illuminati. He wishes he was.
Yeah.
So I think his hair grew back all miraculously.
Yeah, that's the Illuminati for you.
Strange that was.
Bend in.
I'd rather have a shaved head nowadays rather than hair. Sorry, it's just easier. I'm going to go the haircut. I can do it myself at home. Always easy to go and have an haircut. Always left it too long. Then I'm going bored very early, so it didn't matter.
You want to carry on that quote, the last few lines?
Yep. We have rules for how these organisations are supposed to behave. The fact that FIFA has gotten so big that any of the same rules is really what's led to its corruption.
So it's become too big to fail as well, hasn't it?
Of course, I guess.
Yeah, and they were ruling themselves, obviously, for decades, and it obviously wasn't working.
Yeah, what do FIFA do? Well, they govern the game and they host the World Cup every 4 years.
And if your president at the top is encouraging corruption so that he can stay in his position, he's got no chance, has he? Any whistleblowers are going to be silenced. And
Sepp Blatter knew it was all going on, man. It was like running it like a mafia.
Yeah.
Basically, because everyone's getting bribes and they're all paying a little bit to him, and he says, alright, well, I won't say nothing, but I want your vote. Maybe he got like 5% of every bribe.
Has he done any time or anything for it?
He's under investigation as we speak. We'll get to it at the end.
Okay.
With the latest update on his trial. Now, obviously what happened next was a bit unclear.
What do we know now? Because this is an old article.
Well, what we know is that they've got a new boss, haven't they? I've forgotten his name, but it sounds like a baby. Infantini. It's Blatter and Platini, not Infantini, Platini. Oh my God, it's like a placenta and a baby, isn't it? Platini sounds like a bit like placenta. Infantini is like a baby. Weird. But Sepp Blatter, so like, yeah, at this point there's an article now, it's an interview with Sepp, and it's a few years after. 2017, so he hasn't had the he's resigned and everything, and he went away for a while. And now he's back. But basically, in the meantime, FIFA have got to prove that they're stamping this out.
Yeah.
So they've all been good boys for a while, as far as we're aware. But we'll get to the ongoing Sepp Blatter and Platini investigation at the end. Of Sepp Blatter, he says about the arrest of FIFA officials at the Bar Olac Hotel in May 2015 and whether he was bitter at the US Attorney's General description of FIFA as a racketeering investigation. He replied, "I was not bitter, I was shocked, and I have never recuperated about the shock." But now he was back up and battling, appealing to the Court of Arbitration for Sport against his Ethics Committee ban. He later lost that case. He has defended his record to the Swiss investigators, but he had time on his hands. This guy basically goes over for lunch with him. And he cannot understand why the US had gone for him when he had supported their bid to host the 2022 World Cup. So he said, "I supported the US, I wanted them to have it, of course. Meet my Russian wife, Ivana. Sorry, I'm joking, he hasn't got a Russian wife that I know of. But I imagine the Russians probably gave him some women for a bit. And some Viagra." He confirmed what he had so often been speculated, that this was part of his ultimate aspiration to claim a Nobel Prize, to be recognised to have made a major contribution to world peace.
Fucking hell.
He wants FIFA to have world peace, well, he wants himself, but he's claiming it as FIFA.
Megalomaniac, isn't he?
Yeah.
Peace.
He says he didn't want it personally, but for FIFA, for the game. We had meetings with the Nobel Prize organisation. I was there, and what I was really asking for was the Nobel Prize for football, not for a man. It's a movement. It's for FIFA, but he's the guy that's going to accept it.
It's going to
live in his office.
Yeah.
It's going to go to his house until he's dead.
Yeah.
And in all intents and purposes, he's going to have a Nobel Peace Prize, isn't he?
Yeah, it's going to have his name on the certificate or whatever, surely.
Accepted by, on behalf of. Yeah, there you go.
With football hooliganism as it is he taking the piss?
Yeah, but what you can say is like, I'm bringing peace to the Middle East for a month because we're going to have the World Cup and everyone respects the World Cup, even terrorists.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
The security's going to have to be up the arse as well. I wonder if that 220 billion includes a security that's going to have to be on site.
Possibly.
Probably. Well, I don't know, that's infrastructure cost, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Blatter now blames Platini, who was the French football legend, who was in charge of UEFA, which is like the subcontractor of FIFA. Basically, they run the European side of things for them. See, they've got their own little branches, like an octopus.
They might be independent of them.
They've got a... Nah, I think they're like subcontractors.
Because you're always hearing about...
They're like that.
There's always friction between FIFA and UEFA.
Yeah, because UEFA's the biggest and best, isn't it? Once more, as I say, it's got all the footballing giants. So South America has a bit of sway because it's got Brazil and Argentina and that.
Maybe then, yeah. So he's blaming Platini now.
He blames Platini and the crucial votes the Frenchman took away from the US after his now famous lunch with then French President Nicolas Sarkozy and the Emir of Qatar.
Nice privileged position to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd love to go for a lunch with Nicolas Sarkozy, his wife, and the Emir of Qatar.
Actually, I'd fucking hate it.
That'd be interesting though, wouldn't it? Nice.
Certainly order the lobster.
Oh fuck yeah, I've never had lobster before, I'm on with that.
Lobster and
melted butter, right? They sound like that.
It would be a posh surf and turf for me.
Put some scampi on the side.
I'd certainly want like the most expensive fillet or something and topped with lobster.
I want it with fucking grated puffin, mate.
Grated puffin.
On top. Which apparently Jeremy Clarkson was offered somewhere. I think he was in an Icelandic restaurant and he said yes and said it was delicious.
What was he eating? He was eating...
I can't remember what he was eating. He was offered grated...
Baby seal.
Baby seal, and they offered him grated puffin.
I want to try some grated puffin.
Oh, I don't.
So Blatter, who said that FIFA best argues, who said new FIFA best, sorry, argues that it is a distraction to look for bribery when it comes to the World Cup votes. His argument is the US indictments accuse regional football chiefs of indulging in kickbacks on their own turf when selling TV rights, but he did not believe such practices determined World Cup votes. He goes on to say, the World Cups are not bought, they're influenced by political pressure. Sarkozy changed everything. He asked Platini to look for the interests of France and vote with his colleagues. He seethed after the lunch where Platini took up decisive votes with him, even though Platini had always said he made his own mind up. So Platini's going to Blatter, yeah, I'm on your side, and then he's going, nope, actually disagree. Fuck you, Sepp. He wanted the top spot after Blatter's gone, didn't he?
Yeah.
Because he's head of UEFA, he's going to have a bigger claim to it, because they're the biggest and the best.
Yeah.
Got the biggest clubs, haven't they? Now, he's convinced that the US authorities' investigations began from then, and he railed at the Swiss authorities cooperating so fully at the unfairness of it all. He accepted the American investigators appeared to have found major corruption, mentioning kickbacks on Copa America TV deals, but he argued that it had nothing to do with FIFA itself. It involved the confederations over which he had no control. And he says, so why the hell should the FIFA president bear all the charges, the responsibility and the blame?
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Accountability.
Yeah.
One
He's playing
word.
the victim now.
Yeah.
See, it's a witch hunt.
Yeah. He singled out the former Confederation of North, Central American and Caribbean Association Football, or CONCACAF, President Jeff Webb as the most breathtaking scoundrel of all. And he recorded being at the publication of the CONCACAF Integrity Report, which identified all the alleged frauds of the former Secretary General and President Chuck Blazer and Jack Warner, and that Webb presented himself as a president for a new era of decency. Bless him.
And now Webb's pleaded guilty to charge of corruption.
Yes, yeah.
They just can't help themselves, can they?
No, they can't. That's what you were saying before. Go with it. They just can't help themselves.
Yeah.
It's all greed, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all greed. I mean, I assume that every sort of football club has to. Do you think they contribute in some way to FIFA financially?
I'd imagine so, yeah.
As of a members' tithe?
FIFA tax.
FIFA tax.
And sponsorship and putting all, the names around the side of
Stadium.
They probably make their money from sponsorship, don't they, more than anything? I mean, World Cup rolls around every 4 years. Immediately after one ends, the bidding starts for the next sort of who's going to be the official beer, who's going to have the TV rights.
Coca-Cola, like it is
Coca-Cola
has been for a long time.
Yeah, Budweiser, whoever. They're all these big companies that's got coming in, offering you money, giving you donations.
Well, that'll be how they're making their money.
Oh,
it?
yeah.
And paying these executives.
Yeah.
So you'd argue that they're having enough in their pockets already, aren't they? These executives. Surely.
Yeah, but money breeds money, doesn't it? And people always want more.
Yeah.
The higher up you are, the more money you're kind of being offered. So, like, greed, isn't it? It's what it is. That's how it's how people get
Really rich.
Really rich. It's just.
And once you're rich, you just get richer, don't you? Because you don't have to pay for anything anymore.
No.
You're going out for nice fancy lunches.
And you've got capital, and you can invest that capital, and it can live off the profits from that kind
Well,
of.
yeah, maybe if in exchange for Budweiser being the official beer, you get a nice little stock percentage.
So all I'm saying is that you need money to make money.
Yeah.
When you've got money, you can't
So
so easy to make more money.
Yeah. Unless you're Robin Hood, the operator of the same policy. He always makes money.
Should we carry on with this then? Last bit of himself.
Of himself, he believed that the authorities would find nothing to incriminate him. How little he knows. He was still indignant he had lost the position he worked so hard for over the 2 million Swiss francs payment to Platini. He argued there was nothing wrong except a failure to note they had an oral agreement for Platini to be paid that amount of money. It had nothing to do with seeking Platini's support for the FIFA presidential election in 2011. Platini already said he was staying at UEFA, and FIFA's ethics committee found it was not corruption or bribery.
They just wanted to give him 2
Yeah,
million.
you just have 2 million.
I just want to give you, mate. It's
Yeah,
alright.
you have
Please have 2 million Swiss francs. What were they worth? They're
not-
quite.
They're decent, aren't they, the
good
Swiss
monetary
franc? Because
value,
the
aren't
Swiss are pretty good at the old banking, aren't they?
I'm just trying to think. So I remember what the old francs were like. French francs.
They were piss poor.
They were like 10 to a pound, weren't they? It was pretty much.
It fell really bad at one point. Yeah, that's why they took the euro on.
I just remember it being at one point it was about 10 to a pound, but I'm pretty sure the Swiss was probably more equivalent to like a euro or something. If I remember
It's
rightly.
£1.35 million.
Either way,
So pretty sum.
Yep. Blatter disagreed, and it was a conflict of interest at the time as well.
when I was banned, I was so much surprised. He said, "No guilt at all." This is the latest update to a month ago, and Sepp Blatter and Michael Platini have been charged with fraud in Switzerland over 1.35 million payments. So they're getting sent down. Well, they're getting charged now. They got the evidence. This is dodgy as fuck. This is from the 2nd of November 2021. The former FIFA officials Sepp Blatter and Michael Platini were charged. Michel Platini were charged with fraud and other offences by Swiss prosecutors on Tuesday after investigating a controversial payment of 2 million Swiss francs, the old 1.35 million quid, for 6 years. In 6 years I've been investigating that. The 85-year-old Blatter and 65-year-old former French international Platini now face a trial within months at a federal criminal court in Bellinzona. To quote the Swiss federal prosecutors, "This payment damaged FIFA's assets and unlawfully enriched Platini." So finally they can go, right, you got no reason for doing that unless you're bribing him.
Yeah, of course.
Now, the case from September 2015 ousted Blatter early as FIFA president and ended Platini's campaign. The then UEFA president to succeed his former mentor. That was always the plan.
Yeah.
It centres on Platini's written request to FIFA in January 2011 to be paid backdated additional salary for working as presidential advisor in Blatter's first term from 1998 to 2002.
That's not bad, is it?
Not at all.
1.35 million for 4 years' work
Yeah.
in an advisory capacity.
Yeah.
I'd just about do, I guess.
That's a job I always want. I want to be an advisor. You've got no moral or legal obligation to the company, they're just paying you.
Yeah.
And you just make suggestions. That's a job you want.
That's what Clair did, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He's gone around the world, all these dictators, and become their advisor.
Fuck me, has he?
Yeah, didn't you realise?
I knew he was giving the after dinner speeches. I didn't know he was going around looking at
Like
advising
Like
dictators.
Kazakhstan and stuff like that. And
Is he?
yeah,
Who?
Tony Blair. And we're paying for security when he does this.
Oh, is he part of the drive to drum up some kind of trade after Brexit?
Must be something like that, I don't know. But
Like, send Tony Blair out.
he's enriching himself.
Oh, yeah, of course he is. I mean, Prince Andrew was the fucking UK trade ambassador at one point. He was obviously using that position to fuck kids.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Yeah, but here's a government credit card, Prince Andrew, from one of the richest families in the country. There you go. Have a government credit card with unlimited money. Don't spend any of your own while you're staying at the Jeffrey Epstein's mansion, allegedly. And having sex with underage girls, allegedly. Veins of ice, that man. Veins of ice. Whoever told you that interview was grossly misinformed.
Just a bit.
Sorry, I just keep lying. It's all I keep seeing is Prince Andrew memes on Facebook. It's wormed its way into my subconscious. Can't stop laughing about how fucking shit that interview was. Blatter has been charged with fraud, mismanagement, misappropriation of FIFA funds and forgery of a document. Platini's been charged with fraud, misappropriation, forgery and as an accomplice to Blatter's alleged mismanagement. Platini was not placed under formal investigation until last year, and months later the more serious allegation of fraud was included against both men. So he's only started this in 2015. So yeah, that's where we're up to now.
But they're still not incarcerated.
No,
No, they're going to have a trial yet.
He'll
He probably
die before he
never
goes.
will, will
No, he'll die before he goes to jail. He's 85 for fuck's sake.
I don't think they'll go to jail. They'll just pay massive fines.
Yeah, give the money back and a bit of a fine.
They're old. They're not a danger to anybody.
If they're unwell as well, they're not.
They're just going to get massive fines. I can't see them putting them to jail. I think it would be a bit harsh of them to be put into jail, just because it's fucking money, man.
No, they won't.
Nobody's been killed. Well, you hope.
You never know.
You never know, but
Except those 7,000 migrants potentially in Qatar.
well,
Oh yeah, valid point.
that's not really anything to do with FIFA. That's the way Qatar, the pressure, the way they have to build these 8 stadia in 2 years, kind of thing.
Just think of all the fucking the cost. It's not only the 220 billion. We just briefly on it again. It's not only that. It's the lives. It's the fucking cost of the environment. You're gonna be air conditioning 8 stadiums. That uses a lot of energy.
And all the extra hotels they're going to have to build.
Hotels, the rail tracks, the land.
Hotels have got quite a fat carbon footprint.
Yeah. All the flights over there. How many people are going to get in? How many people can they take? That's another thing.
How many people are going to be allowed in?
Another thing. I mean, what's the alcohol situation going to be like? It's Qatar. How good are their police going to be?
How strict is Qatar on the Muslim religion?
I think you're allowed to drink in
You're
certain
allowed
approved
hotels.
areas.
a bit like in Bahrain and places like that.
Yeah.
Because you go to places like Saudi,
Could
Not
reduce,
at
you
all.
can't have anywhere.
could reduce the hooliganism.
Oh, can you in that place that's pretty much a little bit of America, does the oil mining? There's that film about it. Oh, cack. It's got Jamie Foxx in it. It's quite good. Cack. Anyway, yeah, there's a place in Saudi Arabia that's basically all the Americans live in that one place. It's guarded by the Saudi army. It's a compound. All the oil workers.
Well, they all
their
have
families.
alcohol on the compounds.
So they have alcohol in Saudi Arabia in there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, we had alcohol. We used to call it Siddiqui. It was brought to us by Filipinos. Would just come onto the camp and they'd be selling water, bottled water, and it wasn't bottled water at all. It was a very, very, very strong, like 90% proof alcohol, and it was called Siddiqui, which is Arabic for friend. And
Is it like moonshine?
Oh yeah, and it is stupidly strong.
Filipino moonshine? That's mad.
Obviously, this is going out to the World Wide Web now. I didn't say this. This is all your imagination. Nothing like that happens out there. It's not illegal. But no, obviously places like that, they all do it. So yeah, it's mad. But you would not want to get caught.
No.
If they were caught running this essentially moonshine from camp to camp, they would be
executed immediately.
executed.
Bloodily.
No, they'd be executed publicly. Like
Yeah.
it'd be made a thing of. Yeah, it is mad though the fact that it's just in water bottles, and obviously you have bottled water in Saudi anyway. So trying to distinguish the two
Could be tricky.
can be tricky
Yeah.
when your mum's making your school dinner for you. And it's 5 o'clock in the morning because you go to school at 6.
Oh.
And she accidentally puts the wrong bottled water in your drink, and you get to school and have a drink and go spit it out, thinking, "What the bloody hell's gone on here?" And I was only about 9 or 10. Yeah, scary when you think about the implications of that.
I know that in the first Gulf War, they were like the RAF was smuggling it in shampoo bottles for their ground crew and pilots if they had a night off. He was full of gin, and they already had the water, so they were just gin and water.
Tidy.
Happy days.
Worrying that they could be flying very expensive machines the next day, but still
Keeps morale up.
keeps morale up. Let's closing thoughts on FIFA. Bastards, eh? That's all I'm gonna say. Cheeky bastards.
Hopefully they've got some more good people in now.
They're being good at the moment, or they're certainly being quietly good, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Or they're just better at not being caught.
Yeah, that's also a possibility. No leaks anymore.
Yeah.
Needs to keep that independent ethics committee.
Totally.
That's a must. Yeah, and because it's destroyed the image of the beautiful game, hasn't it?
Of course it has. The beautiful game's image has been tarnished. We must expunge it.
And they aren't football people, they're business people. Aren't they?
Apart from Platini.
Well, Platini, the odd few are, but most of them aren't, are they?
This is where I go back to what I was saying earlier, that when I think we were off air, but I think you should have more footballers on these boards. They
Same in the
should
FA.
be the ones.
You know, you've got these people in suits that the public don't elect them.
No, there's Sir So-and-so and Dwayne Davis, who's a businessman, who's put some money into a club at some point or made a donation to get on the board. I don't know how it works, no idea.
Who's Dwayne Davis?
I have no idea. He's made him up. Dwayne Dibley. I was going to say Dwayne Johnson, I have to think of another name.
When you said Dwayne, I did think Dibley. That was the first name that came into my
Boys from the
head.
Dwarf.
Boys from the Dwarf.
You a big fan of Red Dwarf?
Of course.
Oh,
Of
excellent.
course.
Big fans here on this pod.
Did you ever watch the American version?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awful.
terrible.
Yeah.
But still, I advise you to watch it on Netflix. I think it might still be on Netflix, I'm not sure on that. You can find it on a torrent somewhere if you want to do it illegally, but I wouldn't recommend that, you know. Obviously I wouldn't push that from a legal standpoint, but you know.
Watch it if you can though, very
Yeah.
funny.
Claire?
Well, I said my piece. They've got to be more
Yeah.
transparent, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Pete?
I agree. That's about it really. Just stop being dodgy and just be more
Let
transparent.
the football do the talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said, the beautiful game needs to be the beautiful game.
Yeah.
Stop spoiling it.
You've got to have the infrastructure there before you can sort of, put a bid in, surely.
Yeah.
There's no good rushing this shit through.
That's it, innit?
Well, Brazil did it. Was it Brazil? They
2014,
they rushed theirs through, and it was like it wasn't going to be ready in time. Luckily, it
Yeah.
was just.
Don't use slave labour to build the fucking stadiums.
Yeah.
That should go without saying.
Can I just say, just skipping back a couple of points, the slave labour is terrible, but also do you remember when Brazil got smashed 7-1 by Germany on home turf in the semi-final?
Yeah.
Just annihilated. Oh, that German team was a good team.
Remember when we annihilated Germany?
Oh, 5-1.
Just recently.
And again, yeah.
That was beautiful.
But
Thomas Muller miss.
Yeah.
oh, changed the game that did.
Yeah.
Yeah, who scored the first? Sterling.
I forget now.
I think it was
Kane or
Sterling.
Sterling, wasn't it?
And Kane got the
scored.
second, Sterling got the first, I'm
Yeah.
sure he did. In at the back post. Yeah, I just got here for that. There were 2 second half goals. They made me stay at work for the first half, even though it was dead, and the other shift were fully manned. And they made me stay until 6, bastards. But they let me have the semi-final off at least. I'll just watch it on my phone blatantly. It's like, what are you going to do? Discipline me? Okay, whatever. You're making me miss this. I haven't got to be here, it's quiet. I don't work for them anymore, so it's alright, they're cunts.
On that note, what do you want, some fucked up facts?
You got fucked up facts? We can do fucked up facts.
Okay, can I have the theme tune, please?
Facts,
fucked up facts, facts.
The Spanish village of Tremoth was officially cursed and excommunicated by the Pope in 1511 for witchcraft. Neither the curse nor the excommunication have ever been lifted.
Well, so all the baptisms are invalid then.
Maybe. Tremoth now crowns the woman who has best served the community Witch of the Year.
Nice!
That's funny.
Nice, I like it. Bloody Pope, going around excommunicating things, losing kids, allegedly.
Many common nicknames beginning with N came about from affectionate phrases where mine was used before the first name. Okay?
Alright, so like, mine Johnny.
No. Begin with N.
Alright,
So you got Ned,
alright, mine Ned.
would have been mine Edward.
Okay.
Okay? And Nell would have been mine Eleanor.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Is
interesting.
that the only names that we can come up with?
That's the only one.
Nigella. Mine Nigel. I don't know.
I'm trying to think, and I can't think of any.
Nicholas. Yeah, there we go. Got Emmy with an N. That's where it come from.
Does anyone know what a mega flop is?
A mega flop.
That when you fall belly first into the pool by complete accident while trying to do a dive.
I was thinking it was something that when you can't get it up, like, I've got mega flop,
and it's sexy
not
night
happening.
and it's not happening.
I'm even trying to thumb it in, but it's just not working. It's mega flop.
I was thinking it was something to do with golf. No?
No. Nice thought, but no. Sadly. It's a unit of computing speed equal to 1,048,576 floating point operations per second.
Jolly good.
Right.
Well, it was not remotely close to what we said. Okay, next one, please.
In 1967, Hallmark cards sold paint-it-yourself paper dresses that cost $2, including the paint.
Okay.
Now I'm sure I saw one of them
Have you?
go for sale on one of these like bargain hunt kind of things. I think like a Cashiomatic. It was one of those kind of programs anyway, and it went for sale and it sold for quite a fair chunk. I can't remember whether it was like, it might well have been hundreds, but it was just like, wow, it was quite an inexpensive thing. And I think it was yellow if I remember rightly, but it was paper. It was essentially paper.
Wow.
But it wasn't paper like you'd think paper. It's like a toughened paper, but still very delicate.
Oh.
Very, very delicate. But yeah, and I think it had its value because it's such a rare thing because there's not many of them left.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Imagine the amount that got scrapped, or
Certainly
people,
from that
kids
era.
played with them or whatever.
Yeah.
And
You paint them once, don't you? When you don't like it, you just get rid of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I have seen one of those on telly before.
I'll go with a bargain hunt.
I'd love to go on it. I would.
Yeah, because they buy some weird shit.
Maybe we should have a go, see if we
Yeah.
can get on it.
Yeah.
they're crap.
They are, aren't they?
Contestants are welcome.
Oh yeah. I reckon I could do a lot better than half the contestants there.
Yeah.
Certainly by haggling. I'd definitely get him
I'm
haggling.
just not
well
buying
better than
something
that.
stupid.
Yeah.
So you go into auction, you've got to think about what people want to buy.
Savvy buying.
They don't want to buy a shitty porcelain duck you just bought for 70 quid. Unless it's fucking rare as shit, which it isn't. What are you doing? No one's going to pay that for that.
You find something old and valuable metal or something like gold or silver at the worst, and you go, right, I'll have that because worst case scrap, and you make sure you get it underneath scrap value. You're laughing.
Yeah.
So you'll never get less than scrap on an auction, and if it's something that's desirable, you might make. No, I'd love to do it. I would love to. Digress.
Sorry, tangent. Daytime TV tangent.
Okay, next fact.
Yep.
During the Crimean War, the inventor of the saxophone, Adolphe Sax,
Nice name.
had an idea for a cannon that would be able to demolish a whole city by firing a 10-metre wide shot weighing 550 tons.
Wow.
The unrealised weapon was to be called Saxo Cannon.
Oh wow, that's sexy as fuck.
Go get the saxo cannon.
Get the saxo.
So why was that never made then?
Because he would have bankrupted a country to make it at the time. Probably. How heavy was the shot?
550 tons.
550
It'd be
tons. Is it the
unrealistic.
diameter?
10 metres.
10 metres wide.
That's one shell.
That's one shell. Imagine the gunpowder. I mean, that's bigger than any naval gun ever. It's bigger than any gun ever. I mean, a 16-inch naval gun fires a projectile that weighs as much as a small car and needs 4 bags of powder to launch it to 20 kilometres. Imagine what that thing's going to fucking need to get it in
It'd
the
have to have
air.
its own rocket power, essentially, wouldn't it?
It would.
It'd be rocket
You
power.
couldn't just do it with gunpowder.
No. That's hilarious.
But then he was proposing that in the Crimean War, which was like 1853.
So it would have been shot.
You would have been shot.
Yeah.
And you've got to make the thing, and you've got to be able to make it so it fires more than one round.
Why would you?
Because it's being breech loaded, isn't it? It's being muzzle
takes a whole
loaded.
city down. Why would you need to shoot more than one round?
Because you might need to take another city down.
You just have a few of them, wouldn't you?
Then
Like a one-
basically, it'd be like a rail gun, but
it would
bigger.
have to be a one-shot thing because to get the power to
make
move
the thing
it,
just actually propel it. I mean, imagine
it
the size of the
would
breech
kill
on the
anything
thing.
it would kill anything that it was using to propel off with the power it would need to explode.
There's
You know what I
every
mean?
chance the thing is just going to blow up as soon as you even pull the fucking cord. I mean, the breach on the thing would have to be immense.
This is, I'm guessing, why it was never built.
So am I. So am I. It would literally bankrupt a country's steel and iron reserves to make a fucking breach strong enough to fucking take the force. And to build the railway tracks, you're gonna have to fucking, unless you're gonna dig it in as a one-shot thing.
Stick to your music,
I don't think they were up in the Crimean War. I don't think they were up to breech loaders. I think they were still using muzzle loaders, the old cannons. So you gotta lift that shot up to put in the fucking cannon at a certain elevation, not all the way up, but
This was designed by a drunken person.
it was designed by a guy who invented a saxophone. I mean, it was shaped like a giant saxophone.
They roll it.
Roll it in like a mousetrap.
What was funny is when he was saying that article, that little fact, that is exactly how I was picturing it. Like, it's a
10
big,
meters.
yeah.
Newfoundland, Canada is home to the small town of Dildo.
Hey!
In 2019, a porn website offered to run free advertising to support tourism to the town.
Do they accept?
It doesn't say.
Oh, but they didn't. We can't be associated with that.
Yeah, probably. But they're called Dildo.
You might as well be, ain't you?
Yeah, let's face it. The man who voiced Tigger in Winnie the Pooh also invented the first artificial heart.
Wow,
That's a cool fact.
Yeah.
that's awesome. No wonder he was always happy.
Wonder how bouncy he was.
I imagine he was pretty happy most of the time, to be fair, wasn't he? I invented an artificial art. Nothing's going to bring me down.
In 1982, Key West in Florida declared itself independent of the US.
Did it?
Yeah.
After declaring itself independent, the newly formed Conch Republic declared war on the US,
Right.
surrendered 1 minute later,
Yeah.
and promptly requested $1 billion in foreign aid from the US.
No, that's fantastic. I think we should try that. This flat, Mike's flat now, is now a sovereign territory.
We'll go and attack America and go, whoa, hold on. We made a mistake. Could you please give us some money, like to... how would you go about it?
No, we'd have to do it with Britain, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But then they control all our electric heat, food supply and everything. That's the issue. We can't grow anything in Mike's flat. We got to need a few blocks. We have to take them by force.
Does anyone want to hear the oldest surviving British joke?
Go on then.
It dates back to the 10th century. I may have done it before, I'm not sure. So Ben might know it.
Is it start Englishman, Irishman, Scottishman?
Nope.
Oh.
What hangs at a man's thigh and wants to poke the hole that it's often poked before?
I know this.
I don't know.
A key. It's more of a riddle than a joke, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's to make the dirty mind go,
Yeah.
Willie.
Yeah. I
It's
finished
a cock.
Nothing's changed us. We're getting a cheap laugh over laughing at a dick. Nothing's changed. It's all British comedy is, really. Dick jokes. I had the misfortune to watch 20 minutes of a Carry On film this afternoon. It was fucking awful. Not just because it's outdated, it was just fucking terrible. The script was awful, the storyline was paper thin, and even Barbara Windsor's tits couldn't save it. And after a while, she just became annoying.
Carry On Camping was the only good one.
I like Carrying Up the Khyber because it's so ridiculous.
Yeah. So when they're being shelled
Yeah.
at the end, yeah.
And then he's like, oh, what are we going to do about that? Well, we're just going to do what we usually do. We're just going to be British and pretend nothing's happening. So the band are playing and everything, and they're eating dinner, and the plaster's coming down into the table and under the seat.
Carrying Abroad's is alright.
I don't know.
That's where they go to a hotel and it starts falling.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Either way, those are like 3 moments which are mildly funny. It's just shit. This is one of the worst ones. But
They did what they could.
oh man, that's the problem with Christmas.
They were of their time and era, weren't they?
Yeah.
I was playing a game on my phone and I was like, just so I had one eye on it and one eye on the game, like, but concentrating on the game, just on in the background, flicking towards it in the meantime, and it was just like, oh, this is fucking awful. What the fuck am I watching this for? It's such a change of channel. Then I found something about aliens. I was quite happy.
I bet you buzzed off it back in the day though, when your mum and dad had it on or something.
Nah,
No?
nah.
No, buzzed off a Carry On film,
No, I never watched them.
didn't you?
No, my dad thought there was shit back then.
See, they're
We went to the cinema to watch the
nostalgic.
last one.
Nostalgic
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. Do you remember the very last Carry On film?
I don't know.
Carry On Columbus, like in the early 90s.
They did basically recast everybody, didn't they? I think Julian Clair, he was in it.
I think he was. It was awful.
I never saw it
It was awful.
because I didn't want to see it because I always thought there was
My
shit.
parents took me to cinema to watch that as a kid.
Oh my god! You know what? That might be something you want to talk to a psychiatrist about.
My parents took me to watch Jurassic Park.
Yeah, me.
You know what I mean?
Me.
Me too.
Not bloody Carry On Columbus.
No,
Well,
I
it was like, I guess it was the
No,
most sort of family-friendly film on at the time, maybe, I don't know, but...
It's full of sexual innuendo
And racism.
and casual racism. And what I watched today was for 20 minutes.
I think they're PGs, aren't they?
Probably not anymore.
They are still PGs, yeah, so maybe.
Cut though.
But yeah, they've been cut a bit.
Well, that's very edited. You don't see as much Barbara Windsor's side boob.
You don't, although she was wearing a very revealing negligee earlier.
She was a hot little mama though, wasn't she?
She was, but it's like just her voice grates on me after a while. I can't deal with it. I have to gag her.
Think a way to do that nicely.
There you go.
Moving on. And finally, finish on this one. Researchers at the University of Glasgow have created a phone that your dog can use to contact you.
What?
What's he going to say when he does?
Woof.
Yeah, that's the most pointless invention ever. What's he going to say? You're going to train the fucker from a puppy to then go, well, he's only going to press the food button, isn't he? What's he going to do if he says, come home? You can't just go, my dog's just
Come
text
home
me
as an
about
intruder.
What am I going to do? My dog just texts me, boss. I'm going to go home.
You don't shuttle over the furniture, I'm going to get home.
He got into the fridge, boss. Let me gammon. He's wrecked the place. You know, what can you fucking do?
Well, I'm not
It's
sure
a
about
terrible
that.
idea.
I like the idea of, you know, those ones that it's a camera and they you can chuck out a treat from it.
Yeah, I like. Okay,
You
yeah.
know, you just go on your phone, get the app, and you can like move it around, see what your pet's doing. I like
Isn't it-
that, but I'm not sure about them calling you.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah. No.
Oh fucking hell! I mean, yeah. What they going to say? I do love the memes, the text from dogs. Though, have you ever seen that?
No.
Oh, you never seen the text from dog? It's on Facebook somewhere. There's like a series of texts from the dog. Oh, I can't even remember
What
now.
if your dog was to text you? What would they say, sort of thing?
It's like, yeah, hey, someone just ate your mail, kind of thing. Yeah, they're quite funny. I can't remember them off the top of my head, but they're quite a little bit of clickbait for you to scroll through.
Cool.
Right, that's the end then.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. I've been Ben. Don't drink the favour, don't join a cult. And you can listen to us on SoundCloud at Cutting the Bull and the PTA, Facebook, Cutting the Bull and the Post with Apocalypse,
He's got it right for once.
Hey!
and
year,
YouTube
new start.
at Apocalypse Ball.
Yes.
And Happy New Year. This is the first one we're recording of the new year.
Yep. I'm in Mike. Thanks for listening. Peace out. May the force be with you. Happy New Year.
And I've been Claire. Keep an open mind, but not so open that it spills out your ears. And Happy New Year.
I've been Pete. I will still be Pete. Have a happy new year to everybody, and hope this next year brings everybody much prosperity and fortune. Peace out.